Every trader starts the same way, wide-eyed, hungry, and lost in the noise. The market looks like an infinite puzzle, and every corner of the internet promises a new piece. One YouTuber says price action is the secret. Another swears by indicators. Someone else is making thousands with robots, and another claims to trade news only. You look around and think, maybe I just need to find the right system. And so the search begins. You jump from one strategy to the next. You try scalping, swing trading, ICT concepts, supply and demand, Fibonacci retracements, indicators, algorithms, mentors, signals, and for a moment, each one feels like the one. You get that rush of excitement, that belief that you finally cracked it. But then the losses come. The strategy that worked last week suddenly fails. The confidence fades, and the cycle restarts. That's where 90% of traders stay forever, trapped in what I call the strategy carousel. They never master anything long enough to build consistency. They chase perfection in systems when the real work is in mastering themselves. The truth is, there is no perfect strategy. There's only perfect discipline. Because the system you use is just a tool. What matters is the hands that hold it. A sharp blade doesn't make a warrior. Practice does. Focus does. Patience does. But focus is rare in this world. We live in a generation addicted to novelty. Everyone wants something new, something faster, something easier. Traders want a system that gives them success without struggle. And when it doesn't happen in 2 weeks, they jump ship and start searching again. That's not trading. That's gambling with a side of impatience. When you chase every strategy, you become a beginner 100 times instead of a master once. You can't build mastery when you reset every week. You can't develop intuition when you never give a method time to breathe. Mastery is built through repetition, by seeing the same setup thousands of times until it becomes second nature. Every great trader you admire didn't master 10 systems, they mastered 1. Think of it like martial arts. The black belt doesn't know 1,000 moves. The black belt has practiced one move 1,000 times. And trading is no different. The irony is, the more you simplify, the better you trade. Simplicity removes confusion. Focus removes fear. Mastery removes hesitation. If you want to win forever, stop collecting systems like trophies. Choose one, study it, test it, understand its personality, when it thrives, when it fails, what it teaches you about yourself. Because every system, if mastered, can work, but none of them will work if you don't. The traders who win long-term don't have secret indicators. They have mastery. They've trained their mind to stay patient when nothing happens and disciplined when everything happens. They've learned that the goal isn't to find a system that never loses. It's to become a trader who never breaks. And that's the difference between chasing success and building it. So here's your reminder. Stop searching. Start mastering. The more you focus, the more the market begins to reveal itself. You stop reacting to noise and start recognizing patterns. You stop hoping and you start knowing. If you truly want freedom through trading, it won't come from the next strategy you find on YouTube. It'll come from the one you've already seen 100 times, but never took seriously enough to master. You don't need more knowledge. You need more patience. You don't need more tools. You need more discipline. You don't need more systems. You need mastery of one. This journey isn't about learning everything. It's about learning one thing so deeply that it becomes part of who you are. If you've been jumping from system to system, let today be the day you stop. Choose one and commit. Don't ask how fast it'll make you money. Ask how much it'll teach you about consistency. Because if you master one system, truly master it, you won't just survive in this game, you'll thrive for life. And here's the truth. You already have everything you need. You just haven't given yourself permission to go all in on focus. So do it. right now. Pick one system and make it your path to mastery. The rest will follow.
Mastery begins the moment you stop chasing and start studying. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, it's repetitive, quiet, and sometimes painfully slow, but that's exactly where transformation happens. Most traders don't realize that mastery is born in boredom. It's forged in the moments when you're tired of seeing the same chart pattern, the same setup, the same candle formation, yet you keep showing up anyway. Because every time you repeat the process, something subtle happens. You start to see details you never noticed before. You start to recognize market rhythms without needing to think. You stop questioning every move because your eyes and instincts begin to align. That's when trading shifts from being a guessing game to a skill. But here's the catch. You can't get to that level if you're switching systems every other week. You're not learning, you're restarting. Imagine planting a tree, then uprooting it every 2 weeks because it hasn't grown fast enough. That's what system hopping is. You keep starting from zero, never realizing that the roots you need are formed underground, unseen, uncelebrated, but essential. Every system has seasons. Some months it will thrive, other months it will struggle, but mastery means understanding both. You learn its strengths and its weaknesses. You stop blaming the market for your losses and start asking the right questions. Was it the setup or was it your execution? Was it the system or your psychology? Only through commitment can you separate luck from skill. And once that clarity comes, you evolve. Because here's the truth. Every consistent trader has gone through the same phase of chaos you're in right now. They all chased new strategies. They all thought there was a shortcut, but at some point they realized the problem wasn't the system, it was them. The market doesn't demand perfection. It demands consistency. You can't be consistent if your foundation changes every month. You can't grow confidence in something you haven't stayed loyal to. When you master one system, you build trust, not in the market, but in yourself. You start to see that trading isn't about control, it's about alignment. You align your actions with your edge, your emotions with your plan, and your expectations with reality. That alignment creates calm. And calm traders make clear decisions. Clarity becomes your advantage. The noise fades. The need to predict disappears. You stop reacting emotionally to every move because you've learned to respect the probabilities. You know that losing trades don't define failure. Breaking your rules does. That's what mastery feels like. Peace in a place where everyone else feels chaos. Most traders never experience that peace because they're too busy running from it. They think they're chasing growth, but they're really escaping patience. They crave excitement, not progress. The market rewards neither. If you want to reach the next level, you have to fall in love with repetition. You have to find beauty in boredom. Because every time you execute your system perfectly, even if it loses, you've won. You've proven to yourself that you can follow through. That's where confidence is built, not in profit, but in process. You can't fake that kind of confidence. It's quiet, powerful, and unshakable. It doesn't depend on outcomes, only on discipline. And once you have it, the market can't take it from you. That's what mastering one system gives you. Freedom. Not freedom from losing, but freedom from confusion. When you know your system like you know your own heartbeat, you stop searching, you stop comparing, you stop wondering what you're missing. You understand that the power is already in your hands. It just needs consistency to grow. So keep refining, keep showing up, keep mastering. You don't need a miracle, you need momentum. Every great trader started small, repeated one thing until it became instinct, and built success on that simple foundation. Your future self, the confident, consistent trader you dream of, isn't out there waiting. It's being shaped right now in every chart you study, every rule you follow, every mistake you correct. So keep going. Don't stop because it feels slow. The slow path is the only one that leads to mastery. Stay patient. Stay focused. The more you commit to one system, the less you'll depend on luck, and the more the market will start to make sense. Because when you stop chasing strategies and start mastering one, everything changes. The noise fades, the fear fades, the randomness fades. What's left is clarity, and that's where consistency is born. If you're ready to break the cycle, it starts today. Pick one system and go all in. Test it, learn it, fail with it, grow with it, stay with it until it becomes your second nature. The journey won't be fast, but it will be worth it. Because once you master one system, you'll never need another. You'll stop trying to find the edge, you'll become it.
Mastery doesn't just change your trading, it rewires your psychology. It changes how you see the market, how you see losses, and ultimately how you see yourself. When you commit to one system, something begins to shift inside you. The chaos turns into structure. The uncertainty becomes manageable. You begin to realize that trading isn't a battle against the market. It's a battle against your impulses. The truth is, most traders don't lose because their systems fail. They lose because they can't stay faithful to their systems long enough to let the probabilities play out. They interfere. They overthink. They doubt. Every time a trade doesn't go their way, they start tweaking rules, changing setups, adding indicators, removing indicators, and before long, the system they once believed in is unrecognizable. That's not growth, that's insecurity disguised as progress. You see, mastery brings something that most traders never get to experience. Trust. Trust in your process, trust in your edge, trust in your ability to follow through. It's that trust that turns confusion into consistency. When you master one system, your mind becomes anchored. You stop reacting emotionally to every tick on the chart because you know what to expect. You've seen your setup fail before, and you've seen it win. You know your probabilities, your risks, your rewards. You've tested it enough times to understand that no single trade defines your skill. That's psychological freedom, the kind of freedom that only comes from commitment. And this is where most traders quit. Right before this transformation happens, they've done a few back tests, a few live trades, and the system starts to struggle. They panic. They assume it's broken. They forget that every strategy has drawdowns, every edge has losing streaks, every market has noise. Instead of learning to adapt, they run to something new. And by doing so, they restart the learning curve all over again. They never build emotional resilience because they never stay long enough to experience it. But when you stick to one system, the pain starts to make sense. The losses stop feeling like punishment and start feeling like tuition. You begin to understand that mastery isn't about avoiding pain, it's about enduring it with purpose. The professional trader feels the same emotions as everyone else: fear, greed, frustration, but they've trained their mind not to act on them. That discipline doesn't come from motivation, it comes from repetition. It comes from following one set of rules so consistently that it rewires your instincts. That's what mastery really is, the rewiring of your instincts. You're no longer a trader who reacts, you're a trader who responds. You stop needing to control the market because you've learned to control yourself. That shift from external control to internal control is where your evolution begins. You start to see the market for what it is, a reflection of human behavior, the same patterns, the same reactions, the same psychology repeating every day. And because you focused on one system, you begin to notice the subtleties, the slight hesitation before a reversal, the fake breakouts, the emotional traps. What once looked random now feels familiar. That familiarity breeds confidence, and confidence, when grounded in mastery, breeds consistency. This is why the best traders in the world can go months without changing their systems. They know the market doesn't reward new ideas. It rewards consistency. They understand that one deeply mastered system can outperform 100 shallow ones. Every trade becomes data, every mistake becomes feedback, every win becomes confirmation. And over time, that feedback loop strengthens your psychology. You no longer see trading as chaos. You see it as probabilities in motion. And when you see probabilities, you stop chasing perfection. You start chasing execution. You stop asking, will this trade win? And start asking, did I follow my plan? That's the mindset of mastery. It's quiet, it's patient, it's powerful. So stop trying to be everywhere at once. Stop thinking that more knowledge equals more success. The trader who knows 10 systems but can't follow one will always lose to the trader who knows one system and executes it with perfection. You don't need to conquer every market. You just need to master your corner of it. If you can execute one setup flawlessly, you can scale it, refine it, and live off it. But if you keep jumping, you'll never build the psychological muscle that separates amateurs from professionals. The next time you feel the urge to switch systems, remind yourself, the discomfort you're feeling isn't a sign to change. It's a sign that growth is happening. Every master has felt it, that pull to escape boredom, that desire for novelty. But the ones who resisted became the traders everyone else tries to copy later. So stay in the process. The repetition that feels dull today will become your instinct tomorrow. That's how mastery works. It's invisible until it's undeniable. You'll wake up one day, open your charts, and realize you no longer second guess. You no longer panic. You just trade. Calmly, consistently, confidently. And that's when you'll finally understand you didn't master the system mastered you. It trained your mind to think clearly, to wait patiently, to act decisively. That's real trading. That's real freedom. So keep going. The mastery you're building right now will carry you through every market condition for the rest of your life. Because when you master one system, you don't just win trades, you win forever.
At some point, the charts stop being just charts. They become a reflection of you, your patience, your fears, your habits, your mindset. That's what mastery does. It forces you to see yourself clearly. Every hesitation, every impulsive entry, every revenge trade. It's not about the market. It's about your psychology revealing itself through your decisions. When you master one system, you strip away the excuses. You can't blame the method anymore because you know it inside and out. You can't say, this doesn't work, because you've seen it work countless times. The only variable left is you, and that's where the real work begins, the inner work that most traders run from. Mastering one system turns trading from a financial challenge into a psychological one. It stops being about profit and starts being about discipline. The game changes from how can I make money to how can I control myself. And that's when true growth begins. The market becomes your teacher, not your enemy. Every losing trade becomes a lesson in patience. Every winning trade becomes a reminder of structure. Every flat day becomes an exercise in emotional control. The same market that used to frustrate you now trains you because you finally stop fighting it. This shift is powerful. Once you embrace it, trading becomes less about prediction and more about preparation. You don't need to guess anymore. You already know what your system looks for, what your signals mean, what your risk tolerance is. You don't trade to feel excitement. You trade to execute precision. And precision comes from repetition. The more you repeat your process, the calmer you become. You stop chasing trades. You stop fearing losses. You stop overanalyzing everything. You start flowing with the market instead of forcing it. It's like a craftsman who's done his work 1,000 times. The first few attempts were awkward, uncertain, messy. But now every move is deliberate. Every detail has purpose. That's the level mastery brings you to, when trading stops being chaos and becomes art. But that art only appears after the grind, after the boredom, after the hundreds of hours of watching charts, documenting trades, analyzing mistakes, and doing it all over again. Most traders never get there because they can't handle the silence. They crave intensity, excitement, adrenaline. But trading mastery is built in quiet focus, not noise. It's built in patience, not urgency. It's built in stillness, not chaos. When you master one system, you start to enjoy that stillness. You stop rushing. You begin to understand that your edge isn't in speed, it's in waiting. You realize that patience is not doing nothing. Patience is preparing to act when the time is right.
You no longer feel the need to take every setup. You'd rather wait for the high probability ones. You start saying no to bad trades, not out of fear, but out of confidence. You're no longer reacting to the market, you're responding to opportunity. And that's when you start seeing the results others only dream about. Not because you found a secret system, but because you finally found mastery within yourself. Consistency follows naturally. Not every day will be green, not every trade will win, but you'll start to notice something. Your results will stabilize. The emotional swings will fade. The anxiety before trades will disappear. You'll start to trust your process, even when the outcome isn't what you want it. That's the kind of confidence money can't buy. The confidence that comes from knowing you've done the work. Most traders never get to feel that. They quit too soon. They jump too fast. They abandon what could have been mastery for the illusion of something better. But mastery is never found in something better. It's found in doing the same thing better. If you're still searching for the perfect strategy, stop. There isn't one. Every system has flaws. Every edge has drawdowns. The difference between the ones who win and the ones who quit isn't the system, it's the discipline to stay through the imperfections. You can't win this game without surrendering to the process. The trader who learns to stay calm when their system struggles is the trader who survives long enough to succeed. They know that the market moves in cycles, and so does performance. They know that the losses they face today are the price they pay for the knowledge they'll use tomorrow. They understand that mastery doesn't guarantee victory in every trade. It guarantees longevity in every market. And that's the ultimate goal, not just to win today, but to keep winning for years to come. When you master one system, your mind stops looking for shortcuts. You begin to value small, consistent growth over reckless highs. You become the kind of trader who can make money in silence. No bragging, no chasing, no panic. You start trading like a professional, patient, calm, and focused. And when you reach that level, everything changes. Trading stops being a source of stress and becomes a source of stability. You begin to trust the process, trust yourself, and trust time. You finally understand what professionals mean when they say, you don't trade the market, you trade your plan. So keep going, keep refining, keep mastering. The system you're working on right now could be the one that changes your entire life, but only if you stay long enough to let it. Don't quit before it clicks. Don't trade for excitement. Trade for excellence. And remember, the goal was never to master trading, it was to master yourself through trading. Because when you do that, the market becomes your reflection, steady, patient, and powerful.
There comes a moment in every trader's journey when they finally stop searching. That moment is quiet. No fireworks, no celebration, just a calm realization that the answers they were chasing were never out there. They were inside, buried beneath impatience, doubt, and the endless need for something new. That's when you truly understand what it means to master one system. It's not about memorizing patterns or memorizing indicators. It's about mastering yourself, your impulses, your discipline, your emotions. It's about realizing that consistency doesn't come from finding more, but from needing less. You start to notice that the traders who seem most successful all have something in common. They do less, but they do it perfectly. They don't need 5 monitors filled with charts. They don't chase 20 setups a day. They don't reinvent their plan every month. They've simplified their craft to something that fits their mind, their rhythm, their psychology. They've made trading personal, not mechanical. And that's where true mastery lives. Not in copying others, but in perfecting yourself. Most traders never reach this point because they're addicted to the illusion of progress. They think movement equals improvement. But jumping from one system to another isn't progress, it's escape. It's running from the discomfort of mastery. Because mastery is uncomfortable. It's repetitive. It's humbling. It exposes you. It forces you to face your weaknesses instead of hiding behind new tools. And that's why few traders ever achieve it. Not because it's impossible, but because it requires patience that most don't have. But those who do, they build something unbreakable. They build a foundation that no market crash, no losing streak, no news event can shake. They don't panic when others panic. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. Their results speak quietly, but powerfully. Because when you've mastered one system, every trade has purpose. Every entry, every exit, every loss, every win, all of it serves your growth.
You're not reacting to the market anymore. You're responding to opportunity. You're no longer a student of randomness. You're a master of rhythm. That's what it feels like when you finally arrive. The charts that once looked chaotic now look like a language you've learned fluently. You see patterns others miss. You feel the rhythm others ignore. And most importantly, you act without hesitation because you trust your process. That trust is priceless. You no longer need confirmation from social media, signals, or opinions. You've outgrown the noise. You've outgrown the chase. You've built a connection with the market that's personal, steady, and honest. The truth is, trading will always test you. The moment you think you've conquered it, it'll remind you that humility is the price of survival. But when you've mastered one system, you meet those challenges differently. You don't break, you adjust. You don't react, you refine. You don't quit, you evolve. That's what separates the masters from the masses. While others are searching for shortcuts, you're strengthening your roots. While they're looking for magic indicators, you're perfecting your execution. While they're chasing the next big secret, you're quietly compounding your results, one disciplined trade at a time. Because you've realized something most traders never will. Mastery isn't found in more, it's found in repetition, reflection, and refinement. You start to see the beauty in patience, the strength in silence, the confidence in simplicity. You don't fear losing anymore because you know loss is part of the process. You don't crave constant wins because you understand probabilities. You don't overreact because you've learned that control is more valuable than excitement. And that's when trading stops being a hustle and becomes harmony. You wake up, open your charts, and there's no rush. No fear, no chasing, just clarity. You see your setup, you execute, and you move on. The outcome doesn't define your day, your discipline does. That's what mastery feels like. You realize you've been chasing consistency all along, but consistency was never in the system. It was in you. You just had to slow down enough to find it. And when you do, everything changes. The same system that used to frustrate you now becomes your peace. The same routine that felt boring now feels powerful. The same repetition that felt like stagnation now feels like control. You stop trading for money, you start trading for mastery. And here's the irony. Once you stop chasing the money, it starts to come. Slowly, steadily, naturally. Because now you're trading from discipline, not desperation. From structure, not emotion. From understanding, not impulse. This is the point where the real transformation happens. You're not just a trader anymore, you're a professional. You've mastered the craft, the mindset, and the patience that 99% of traders will never develop. You've become the example. And it all started when you stopped chasing 100 strategies and decided to master one. So if you're listening to this right now, let this be your reminder. You don't need more. You don't need the latest course, the newest indicator, or the perfect algorithm. You already have everything you need to win. You just need to commit to it long enough to let mastery find you. The market will keep testing you. It will tempt you to quit, to switch, to start over. Don't. Stay the course. Keep sharpening your one edge until it cuts through every excuse, every emotion, every obstacle. Because once you master one system, you'll never look back. You'll trade with calm and chaos. You'll see opportunity where others see noise. You'll build consistency that compounds into freedom. And when you finally get there, when the profits are flowing, the emotions are steady, and the noise has faded, you'll realize something powerful. You never needed 100 strategies. You just needed one, mastered completely. So stay patient. Stay disciplined, stay loyal to your process, because in trading, mastery is the ultimate edge. And once you have it, you win forever. In the end, mastery was never about knowing everything. It was about doing one thing with clarity, with patience, with precision, until it became part of you. Every chart, every loss, every long night staring at the screen, they were never wasted. They were shaping you. Breaking down the impatience, the ego, the noise, until all that was left was focus. The traders that last aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who need the least. The ones who stopped chasing 100 systems and chose to master one. The ones who turned discipline into instinct and repetition into freedom. Because in this game, it's not the loudest who win, it's the calmest. It's the ones who understand that patience isn't passive, it's power. So choose your system, build your plan, and then live it, breathe it, master it, until it no longer feels like trading, but like truth. The market will test you, the world will distract you, but the one who masters focus wins forever. Don't miss the next lesson. Subscribe now.